going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great weekend having a look at what is going on. Bitcoin back above $6,000 at the time of making this video. What a crazy 24 hours we had for Bitcoin. We got all the way down to $5,670. We pumped massively this morning up to $6,644, wicked straight down. And now we're basically sitting right around the same levels that we've been trading around since March 19th. So I want to talk about what the heck is going on right now. Does this have anything to do with the news that came out this morning? If you don't know what I'm talking about, we will get into that. But some people are actually saying that Bitcoin is starting to form a pattern, which we've spoken about on this channel before. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to get into that. But they are expecting a massively explosive move for Bitcoin, much more than the move that we saw just this morning. I'm going to talk about whether or not this was a fake out and if we're looking to go down again, or if this actually is setting up for something quite massive. And I do want to get into the crazy news that just came out from the Fed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're definitely going to want to stick around. We are going to talk about what is going on. We're going to keep today's video super short. Welcome back to the channel. Usually I would say back on the grind. However, we do know what is basically going on right now. Now, you guys know I'm in New York. Absolutely out of control. You can see the deep red right here. We have the highest amount of cases out of all of the states right now. You know, pretty much all non-essential businesses are closed. Let me know what's going on where you're from. How is your town or county dealing with it? Basically over here, it's like, just don't leave unless it's for pretty much an emergency type situation. So that's what we're dealing with over here. But that being said, we do need to get straight into the video. So if you're not subscribed yet, well, do consider it. And that being said, let's hop in. But breaking news, guys, Trump has announced a halt to all Bitcoin trading. Just kidding, that's impossible because no one controls the network. This is actually just a post from Reddit on our Bitcoin. I'm just being funny. Hopefully you guys have already seen this by now. It's about a day old. But in all sincerity, there were speculations over the weekend that Trump was considering maybe shutting down the stock market. You saw a lot of Bitcoiners coming out saying, well, you can't shut down Bitcoin, right? Well, lo and behold, this morning we did have this incredible pump. You can see right here from the low to the high, Bitcoin actually pumped 14%. Currently, still at the time, we are up around 7% still. So what the heck is going on? Well, super quick, before we get into the charts, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said, working with the Federal Reserve, we have up to, and I am not misquoting this, $4 trillion worth of liquidity that we can use to support the economy. The Treasury Secretary said the plan is broad-based to help small businesses and large businesses get through the next 90 to 120 days. So that's right, money printer go BARR.
Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there's an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
So the Federal Reserve has announced that it would also purchase an unlimited amount of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities in order to support the financial market. The Fed said it would buy assets in the amounts needed to support smooth market functioning and effective transmission of monetary policy, essentially endless money printing. There is no cap this time, okay? Now, in all fairness, Donald Trump did come out and say the Fed should not do QE3. Neither the economy nor the dollar can withstand another round of artificial liquidity. Oh, wait a second. This is actually from April 11th, 2012. I guess now it's totally okay. Totally fine in these circumstances. But back in 2012, this was not a good idea. So I guess at this point, the U.S. debt clock is basically just a novelty at this point. Really no reason to even refer to this website anymore. And if you don't already know, this is exactly the reason why Bitcoin was created. In fact, if you've never had a look at the Genesis block, you will find this headline included right here. It says, January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. And we all know that this was essentially a response to the 2008 financial crisis. So how did the markets react to the news this morning? Well, you could see Bitcoin obviously had a spike. We had gold up, we had US oil up, we had stocks up. Essentially everything had a massive spike to the news.
But wait, there's more.
If that wasn't crazy enough, we have Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of Michigan basically recommending the Automatic Boost to Economies Act. Now, let me go into exactly what this would mean. So while all politicians in the U.S. have responded to the virus, which shall not be named, by proposing a stimulus, the program she proposed, which included a temporary universal basic income, which I'll explain in just a second, was to get this, the U.S. to mint and issue $1 trillion platinum coins, which the Federal Reserve would purchase, crediting $2 trillion to the mint. So essentially, literally minting $1 trillion platinum coins, actual coins. You literally can't make this up. Essentially, she proposed that, they should do this, and the plan that she's talking about would aim to create a universal basic income system that would pretty much see a payout of $2,000 to every American citizen. Following the first $2,000 payment, U.S. residents would then get an additional monthly payment of $1,000, basically up until a year after this particular outbreak is over. Okay, enough with the updates. Let's talk about what is actually going on in the charts. Well, I'll tell you what, the weekly candle was quite the Darth Maul wick. Lots of liquidations to the top and to the bottom, but currently we are sitting above the 200 weekly average. So short term, this is good for Bitcoin, right? As long as we basically stay above this 200 weekly moving average, which has basically supported Bitcoin pretty much since it was created, this is essentially good for Bitcoin. Now, here's the interesting thing. Having a look right here, you will notice that despite all the news, some people are saying, well, the price is, having this effect based on what happened. Well, we did see that everything was having an effect to the news this morning, and you are noticing that we are still respecting these trend lines. In fact, this support that was holding us basically right here has now actually become our resistance. However, keep in mind that we do have this line that was holding us down that we have actually got above as support. Now, this is the pattern that you're hearing some people talk about, which is the classic textbook bump and run reversal pattern. Essentially, you have the lead-in phase right here, the bump phase, which would be, the dip, and then we have the throwback to the trend line, and then the massive pump. Now, I have also heard some people say that this also does look somewhat like a cup and handle, where you would have the cup and the handle. So this all depends on how you're looking at the charts and what you're seeing right now. Now, to be completely honest with you, if we actually look at a classic bump and run reversal, it is a little bit different in the sense that this trend right here would actually start providing the support. If we go back to what we're looking at right here, I suppose you could say it did, but it happened a lot earlier than the textbook pattern would say that it happened. So is this just people speculating? It is a possibility. Now, if we were to have a pump and actually break above this, we would be held down again at around the level that we bumped to, the 6.7K, with the ultimate resistance being at around $7,800. If we got above $7,800 and held above it on a nice daily close, then I would become extremely bullish short term. Right now, we are still in a bit of choppy waters. If we do get rejected, we do risk falling back down to the lower $5,000 levels, with around $5,300, $5,400 looking to be sort of that short-term support, right? Now, here is the thing I wanted to talk about. We are actually still trapped in this descending channel that started way, way, way back when we had the massive top at around June 26th, okay? Now, if we look right here, we could see that we do sort of tread around the heart line. Now, the heart line being the center dotted line right here, that was holding us back right before the pump. And since we did have that recent breakout, we have fallen back down and tested it again. So once again, guys, we do need to break out of this channel. And if we were to go directly up today, well, lo and behold, look at that. After we had that dip to the 6.4K level, that level is still sitting at around the $7,800 level. So I think we really need to keep our eyes on 7,800 to get back on this trend and really start putting in that bullish trajectory again. Up until then, really, we're just bouncing around in this channel, and unfortunately, we do risk going all the way down to the low that we had right here, which is around the $4,225 level, which was the resistance during the entire accumulation phase of the massive dip after 2018. So I know nobody wants to go down to $4,200 Bitcoin, but I just want to point that out. And once again, for all of my friends who are following the CME futures gap, we do have a gap at around $9,060. We could potentially look to fill that. However, I know there's a lot of gap conspiracy theories out there. One bit of news before we move on and get on out of here, guys. We do have the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. The country's central bank is considering a regulatory sandbox for crypto companies in an apparent change from its previous anti-cryptocurrency stance. So the proposed sandbox is reportedly part of a broader agenda by authorities in Zimbabwe to revamp the nation's financial sector, which has seen massive hyperinflation since 2007. So we have seen a lot of, these hyperinflations. We've seen what happened in Venezuela. We saw what happened in Colombia. And it looks like the U.S. is looking to turn on the money printer as well. So once again, I do consider Bitcoin to be a tremendous hedge against this. Will Bitcoin be totally immutable to any of the downturns if we do have an extensive financial, economic downturn, recession, depression? Not 100%, but I do think long term that Bitcoin will prove to be one of the greatest performing assets, especially once we do have a bit of a recovery. So on that note, guys, I do want to say I hope you are being safe out there. As you can see, we're at 349. Are these going up? Yeah, they've gone up since I've even just refreshed the page. Please be safe out there. Lots going on. It's definitely getting pretty crazy over here. You can see over in New York, we're pretty much leading the way over here. So, well, that being said, guys, I will continue to bring you updates every single day. I do love you guys. You are the reason that I make videos as frequently as possible. I do hope you are having a safe and happy start to your week. And I do hope that this situation isn't affecting you that badly. But just remember, guys, these do always blow over eventually. There's no depression or economic situation that never eventually recovered, right? And obviously, if you're watching this video, well, I already know how you feel about Bitcoin. So thanks so much again for coming back to the channel. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.